But I did learn some lessons, and I'm gonna kind of dive into some of those lessons that I learned now. Lesson number one that I learned, and it's the most obvious one, is don't make a decision in the lows. Don't make a decision in the lows. Don't decide to quit. Don't decide to stop when you're feeling down, when you're hurting, when you're in pain, when you're throwing up, whatever it is. Just wait it out. One of my favorite quotes is, "Don't cut a tree down in winter." If you look out your window in the middle of January and it's 10 degrees outside and it's snowing and your tree looks dead and you're like, crap, I think that tree's dead. There's no leaves on it. There's no color. I think I'm just going to go chop it down. It looks ugly. Who does that? Nobody does that. You don't chop a tree down in the middle of winter because trees are perennial. They're going to come back in the spring. Give it 6 months and it's going to be green and vibrant and full of leaves and full of life. So don't chop a tree down in the middle of winter. Don't make a decision in the low. I wanted to quit. I felt like crap. I was only 2 hours into this 12-mile race. I had no clue how the heck I'm going to get gels down, how I'm going to keep fueling, how I'm going to feel any better than I do right now. But all I knew was just don't make a decision right now. Just be patient. Just wait it out. Give it some time and just keep moving forward. And I think that's a good segue into the next lesson. And this seems to be a reoccurring lesson that I learn in every race that I do, and it's just be patient. I am one of the most impatient people on planet Earth. I think most people are nowadays, whether it's from social media or the way our society is, whatever it is, genetic, I don't know. I'm just so impatient. I want things right now. I want to go out and run this 50-mile race and be done with it and say, okay, I ran my 50 miles, I ran my 12 hours, check the box, move on to the next thing. And things in life just don't work like that. And running is such a good teacher of that lesson, that good things take time. You have to be patient. You have to work through the ups and downs. You have to go through the motions. You can't just flip a switch and immediately get exactly what you want. We can't have instant gratification around here. And sadly, I think things like Instagram and social media and fast food and Uber Eats and Amazon all are just worsening this problem of instant gratification and just teaching us like, if I want something, I can get it within a couple hours. I can get it right now. And again, I think running is such a good teacher of that to run a 12-hour race, you can't speed that up. You can't run faster because you're still just going to be running for 12 hours. You have to just be patient and be present. And just one of the biggest lessons I learned. Even when I was like 6-7 hours into this race, I'm like, oh my gosh, we're only halfway. I still have to do what I already did again. It's just, that took so long and I have to do it again. And your brain goes through all these things. And it's this like constant decision making that you have to work through for 12 hours or for a marathon, for 26 miles, for a half marathon, even a 5K. If you're running, like last weekend, I ran an 18-minute 5K, and it was the longest 18 minutes of my life. I got to the 9-minute mark, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I still have to go the same distance I already ran. I got to do it again. It's all patience. And running, that's one of the reasons I love running so much, is because it teaches me patience. It teaches me how to just not forward think too much and just be in the present and not overwhelm myself with thinking about, okay, I've already ran 23 miles. I have to run another like 27 miles. It's like, oh my gosh, this is so overwhelming. It teaches you cannot do that. And it translates perfectly to life. You can't think 10, 20 years down the road. You can't be thinking about these bills and all this stuff you have coming up because it gets overwhelming and you get stressed out. Like sometimes you just got to be here right now and just be patient. Things play out in the end. Things almost always work out 9 times out of 10. You just got to trust the process. So be patient. Lesson number 3 that I learned was practice like you play. This one, I don't know if I could have anticipated this. I could have just, made the decision to not drink a giant smoothie before running. But most of the time, like 98% of the time when I'm training, I run in the morning. typically on an empty stomach. I run fasted. So I don't run a lot with like heavy food in my stomach. I rarely run in the evening. I rarely eat a big meal and go out for a run. And so because the way this race was, it didn't start till 6:30 p.m. I had to eat breakfast. I had to eat lunch. I had to have like an afternoon snack. And I just didn't, I signed up for this race last minute. I didn't really respect that element of the race. Hence why I threw up, because I ate too much food throughout the day. I ate too much food too close to the race, and I just haven't spent enough time running with a heavy stomach, running late in the day. So let that be a lesson of whatever race you have coming up. If your race starts in the afternoon, then do more of your training runs in the afternoon. If your race starts in the morning, if you're gonna have to fuel, this time before your run, whatever it is, like practice how you're going to play, train like how you're going to race, and implement as many factors from race day into your training as you can. And I think it's only going to help make race day even easier. So practice like you play, train like you're going to race. And the fourth lesson, and maybe the most important, is how important a crew and support system is. Like I said, my mom was my crew for this. It was just her. The eve of her 50th birthday, decided to come up to the mountain and spend 12 hours giving me gels, refilling my water, putting batteries in my headlamps, switching my shoes out for me. Like, it's so helpful. And there's a lot of people at this race that didn't have a crew because there's so many aid stations and you're coming back to like the start finish so often. Like, you don't really need one, but it helps so much. Basically, and I think part of this too is like planning with your crew, giving them a heads up of this is what I'm going to need. This is what I want at each aid station. Here's where all my stuff is at. So that way in the middle of the race, when things are kind of chaotic and like high strung, you guys aren't like panicking trying to figure it all out. You already have everything established. And so before the race, what I did, I knew I'd be running roughly 8 laps. So I got 8 Ziploc bags. I put the exact number of gels and what gels I wanted in each bag. I put like my 2Before, I put my electrolytes, I put like my Morton drink mix, anything I might need in each of these bags, and I numbered them 1 through 8. And then I just said, Mom, here's my 8 Ziploc bags. When I come into each lap, if you could just grab the number of bag, the number of lap I'm on, give me that one, I'll be good. So I told her roughly when I'd be coming into each lap. She was already there. She had my Ziploc bag, number 1, number 2, number 3. And we just swapped out the gels, swapped a headlamp if I needed to, swapped shoes if I needed to. It was so easy. And in and out of aid stations very quickly. I think people spend way too long at aid stations. I get why. It's like it's comfortable. You get to sit down. You get to talk to people. You're not running. It's like a very nice, chill environment. And you get to relax. But you can't take the bait. You can't spend too long at aid stations. The faster you are in and out, it keeps that urgency. It keeps you moving. And it just saves you so much time. And it's all about like the energy that you're putting into the race. If you're coming in just waiting to get to that next aid station so you can sit down and hang out for a bit, you lose all that urgency and you lose that like pep in your step, I think. So it's just like how you do anything is how you do everything. If you come into the aid station prepared, ready to go, get your stuff ready, get out, get back on the course, keep moving forward. It's huge. I did that at my 100-mile race in June. I think average aid station time there was probably 5 minutes. And I've seen some people spend 20 to 30 minutes at an aid station. You can't be doing that. In and out, real quick. And a big part of that is preparing with your crew beforehand, telling them exactly what you want, exactly what you need, and just over planning. Plan more than you think you need to, because inevitably, in the midst of the chaos of a race, people are going to forget things. You're going to overlook things, and things are going to get missed, and hopefully not ruin your race, but it could. I've seen it happen before. So crew is so important. Having a good support system and planning with them is so important. And so I was just reminded of that again.